Morning starts now.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on 5 News Plus. I'm Joe Ellison.
And I'm Tiffany Lee. Coming up this morning, an all-inclusive playground is exciting children in Fort Smith. 5 News reporter Emily Moss is live at Caroline Cross Park, where the newest edition has had lots of positive feedback.
And in Stigler, an assistant police chief acts quickly and pulls a man from a burning car on I-40. We'll have more on that rescue ahead. But first, a live look outside in Poteau. This may be the prettiest. I mean, every day we say Poteau's pretty, but I think this right here wins it all.
It went from pink and purple till it didn't even look real with the clouds.
Yeah, definitely so. It's a beautiful, beautiful shot.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
foggy.
Yeah, a little bit of a mystique out there. And yeah, it's very foggy in many areas, including Poteau. And really anywhere that saw rain on Tuesday or yesterday, we're seeing a lot of that fog. Just be careful as you're heading out the door. Show you a few more shots across the region you're noticing as we head towards really no matter where you are in the region, but especially kind of central northwest Arkansas. We're seeing it in downtown Fayetteville, seeing it in Ozark along the Arkansas River. And then at Fort Smith, that shot not too shabby. Starting to see some parts of Fort Smith, a little bit of fog. You can see Fayetteville and Ozark especially, so you're seeing that quite a bit in Poteau. A lot of that low-lying fog. Again, remember, fog is just clouds close to the surface, so that's why it's kind of moving in a cloud-like shape because, well, it is cloud cover. But there's that fog across the region. You can see down to 0 Mile in Fayetteville, 1 mile in Siloam Springs. Again, the eastern half of the River Valley, especially kind of towards Russellville, is 0 miles, and even towards Franklin County, where Ozark is close to that 1 to 2 mile visibility. Then back off into eastern Oklahoma, it's a little bit better, but Poteau, you saw a little bit of fog there as well. Another thing you'll notice as you walk out the door, it's a little bit cooler than this time yesterday. We're anywhere from about a degree, so yeah, not much, but 5 degrees cooler there in Fayetteville, 3 to 4 along I-40. So yeah, it is feeling pretty nice as you walk out the door. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 50s in northwest Arkansas and the lower 60s in the River Valley. We are seeing some of those stray showers start to make its way on the western edge of LaFleur County, maybe a little bit into Sequoia County as well. Again, not really stressing too much out of this. This is really kind of aimlessly move off to the south. So really this morning is just going to be a mostly cloudy start. Temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. We'll have that fog as well. As we head towards the recess, maybe you could see a stray shower. I think the better chance will come during the afternoon hours, those you're heading home. Maybe moderate rainfall at times. Again, I think most of us are going to stay dry, but have that umbrella for the way home just in case as you're heading out the door. Otherwise, as we break down a little bit further, you can see temperatures into the mid 70s there for the River Valley and a better chance as we head towards the afternoon hours. Then for northwest Arkansas, continuing to see that fog, temperatures in the mid 50s, mid to upper 70s, potentially with a little bit more sunshine and the rain chance later this afternoon. So what are we expecting? And those shower chances will be for us today. Heavy rain, not Tom the person. That's actually my dad's name. Shout out my dad. Heavy rain tomorrow. And then for the weekend, it's looking very nice. Even Friday's looking pretty nice, especially head towards the afternoon and evening hours. So I'll give you a little bit of a further breakdown to get you ready for the rest of the week coming up in your full forecast. For now, take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. Take a live look near the Johnson area along I-49 at Johnson Mill Boulevard. So you can see that fog is a little bit more elevated. Again, fog thins out from the ground up. So if you're in a low-lying area or off in the distance, it's a little bit reduced. So again, have those low beams on. Make sure others can see you out there while you're driving. And we'll have that full forecast coming up in about 10 minutes. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, developing this morning, Stigler's assistant police chief helped save a man's life by pulling him out of a burning car after a crash.
Yeah, there's a video you see right here of this from the very moment it started. He tells reporters in his 20 years in law enforcement, he's had lots of close calls, but nothing this degree. Reporter Michaela Glenn has more.
You hear me? Hear me?
Stigler Assistant Police Chief John Vale only had seconds to save a life. He was in his patrol car on I-40 between Sallisaw and Muldrow transporting evidence when a driver sped past him, weaving in and out between two semis.
It had to take the car had to take the shoulder, and once it hit the shoulder, it started losing control. You could see dust coming up.
Vale immediately pulled over, ran into the woods, and jumped into action.
We gotta get you out of here.
Another person also showed up to help.
And it happened to be a Oklahoma Corporation Commission officer that I happen to know.
They're trained not to move people who have been in accidents, but the fire was getting bigger and hotter by the second.
I decided I needed to get him out of that vehicle.
Hey!
He grabbed a fire extinguisher, hoping to calm the flames to give himself more time to get the man out of the car.
Come on, you gotta try, man. Come on! Come on! Come on! Grab me by the arm. Come on, man. Come on, we got. Come on, come on, buddy.
I'm so thankful for somebody else to be there, strong young man, and that was able to grab the other arm, and the both of us jerking were able to work him free and get him out and pull him to safety.
Every second was critical, and he's glad he was in the right place at the right time.
I'm so thankful that man survived that incident.
Well, the investigation continues into the false active shooter report at the University of Arkansas. Even though it was deemed a false alarm, the toll on students and faculty can be significant. Chancellor Charles Robinson thanked the community Tuesday for their response, reminding students, faculty, and staff that help is available. To support recovery, counseling, and psychological services are expanding drop-in hours, with the chancellor noting that this week is about leaning on each other and using available resources.
Well, the University of Arkansas was part of a series of false reports of shootings, or swattings as they call them, on at least 11 university campuses nationwide, including the University of Kentucky and West Virginia University on Tuesday. According to the FBI, hundreds of law enforcement agencies reported thousands of swatting incidents in 2023. Officials say the trend drains resources, costs thousands, and puts innocent people at risk. Well, as we wrap up the summer season, Fort Smith is celebrating a successful launch of their new all-inclusive playground at Carol Ann Cross Park.
5 News reporter Emily Moss is joining us live at the park with the latest. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. That's right, we're here at Carol Ann Cross Park, where they've unveiled this brand new all-inclusive playground, and they tell me it's been a pretty big hit so far this summer.
Well, earlier this summer, there were some concerns about fiberglass at Creekmore. Do you know the latest on that?
Yeah, so Creekmore Pool, they tell me that right now there were obviously some concerns with the fiberglass, but they're working to make sure that they get the budget prepared so that way they can make repairs to the pool. Right now, they're expecting to try to replace the fiberglass grates with new plastic ones, so that way they don't have that runoff that they've been having this summer.
All right, what are the other initiatives that the park is taking this year?
So the Parks Department is also going to be opening a new park next week, a new playground next week. They're hoping that it's ready by next week, and it's at Tillis Park, and it's all for the older teenagers. They have a new playground, which when you think of 14, 15-year-olds, you don't think of playgrounds, but it's supposed to be sort of American Ninja themed. There's a lot more things geared for older kids. They said that that was a major part of feedback that citizens gave them when it came to trying to get kids involved that are older, so that way they're not out doing what they shouldn't be doing.
And Emily, we want to see that park. So at 7:30, you'll have to give us a look of it and talk a little bit more about what exactly makes it inclusive. We want to see those examples.
Absolutely. People want to know what's out there. All right, coming up on the Daily Brew this morning, a moment many have been waiting for. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift are officially engaged. We're going to have more on that, and you're going to get to see the ring.
And Cracker Barrel, they rolled back their plan to make it more modern. The old country store reverting back to the old logo after some pretty intense backlash. We'll have more on that. But first, a live look in Fort Smith at the Marshalls Museum this morning. The time now, 7:07. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. Well, this week, America marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. The storm made landfall near New Orleans as a Category 3 hurricane. The storm surge caused the city's levee system to fail. Nearly 1,400 people died during the storm and its aftermath. It's estimated Katrina caused about $125 billion in damage. Prairie Grove's Mayor David Falk lived in Louisiana, just outside New Orleans, when Katrina made landfall 2 decades ago. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman sat down with the mayor to hear his story.
Yeah, you can see where people hack their way. Yeah, it looks like a pump station's actually pumping.
I lived in Chalmette, which was probably a 5-minute drive into Orleans.
Before he was mayor of Prairie Grove, David Falk and his family were living in Louisiana. They left just 2 days before Katrina made landfall on August 29th of 2005.
They were people that stood behind and lost families. They were people that had to escape by rooftops and wait for National Guard helicopters to come in. There were people who lived in the Superdome while I was up here enjoying Northwest Arkansas. They were just trying to find a bottle of water.
Falk says for his family, the choice to return home or start a new life here came down to resources.
If you want to go back, you had to have money to go back, and we didn't have that type of money.
Falk says he soon came to the realization that his home was gone.
Your friends are not there, your church family's not there, our jobs wasn't there, school districts wasn't there. I mean, the whole area is wiped out.
When he was finally able to return to Louisiana, Mayor Falk remembers seeing his home flooded under 12 feet of water.
So when the levees broke, we were kind of part of that tidal wave that came in. I guess you kind of feel broken in essence. The longer we stayed here, the more we started realizing we'd be silly to go back home.
Within a week, Mayor Falk and his family had chosen Prairie Grove, Arkansas as their new home. So they returned to Arkansas.
Emotionally, it was difficult. You knew that we were just in a better place up here.
Mayor Falk says his journey from Katrina was different than that of many other Katrina survivors.
I definitely don't feel like a victim. I feel like it was a crossroad for us, and God was taking us on a different journey, and glad I was willing to walk it.
In Prairie Grove, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
With a live look at traffic this morning going in the Fort Smith area along I-540 at Grand Avenue. You're noticing a little bit of fog, but it is starting to lift. Again, it lifts from the ground up, so that's some good news there. Continue to lift, but still seeing in some low-lying areas as well as along any river valleys. So again, just be mindful as you're heading out the door. Could see a little bit of that fog. Similar story here along I-49 at the Highway 71B interchange in Fayetteville. You can see a little bit of that fog starting to thin out. Maybe a little bit of sunshine here off to the east as well. So we are seeing a little bit of that sunshine this morning, but clouds will continue to build in from west to east as we head throughout the day. Currently in Fayetteville, I wouldn't necessarily say chilly, but it is pretty cool. Again, the normal low this time of year is in the mid-60s, and we're in the upper 50s. 58 degrees there, dew point at 57. So again, that temperature and dew point, when it's about the same, you get that air that condenses, that water vapor condenses in the form of clouds, or in this case, fog, since it's at the surface. Seeing that cloud cover move from west to east, again, you can see that cloud cover really now starting to expand. A couple of cracks of sunshine, though, you can see a little bit there. Washington County as well as Benton County as well. Eventually will fill in, and we are seeing a couple of stray showers here. I mean, I'm not really putting too much of a fuss in that. It's going to be very light, so if you do see anything this morning, it's going to be on the lighter side. You're seeing this kind of rotation, again, around the high pressure that is well into the upper portion of the atmosphere. That's usually the steering mechanism that controls really much of the weather. So we are seeing that some of this rain will eventually make its way here later today, but really this is continuing to build off to the west, and eventually this is what's going to swing through Kansas later tonight, and then for us, early tomorrow morning. And with it, could bring a lot of heavy rain, as well as maybe some stronger winds, especially during the afternoon hours. So for tonight, a level 2 out of 4 flash flooding risk for northwest Arkansas and some parts of the River Valley north of I-40. Then for tomorrow, the entire area, especially during the late morning into the afternoon hours. And then on Friday, again, not expecting much. I think a lot of that will start to clear out, and really Friday looks mainly dry, besides maybe a stray shower during the morning and early afternoon hours. So I'll show you what that looks like here on Futurecast. And we're seeing those stray showers off to the west near McAllister. And again, they're going to be harmless, but could see a couple of light showers on your way out the door if you live south of I-40. As we head to the afternoon hours, I'd say by about 3 o'clock, we'll start to see it move through the region. And again, it's going to be very scattered. Could see some moderate rainfall with this. Not everyone will see it, though. So we head towards the evening hours here, 7 o'clock, and still a couple of scattered showers. Then we head towards the overnight hours. This is where things start to pick up a little bit, especially after midnight. We'll jump forward to 4 o'clock, so you can see some of that heavy rain, especially in Carroll County, starting to filter in. And then by 7, you can see nearly area-wide in northwest Arkansas. And again, there's some heavy rain with that. You see those reds, a little bit of purples as well. That'll move south. So you notice the River Valley was dry about 7 a.m. That changes by the afternoon hours. Nearly area-wide showers and storms. You can see pretty heavy. There's some reds as well as some purples. I think kind of this line you're seeing extend here. I'd say eastern Oklahoma and far southern portion of the River Valley could see some stronger thunderstorms Saturday afternoon, evening with those gusty winds. Not expecting anything widespread severe, but something to definitely keep an eye on. As we head towards the evening, here's 6 o'clock. You see the northwest Arkansas area looking pretty dry. South I-40 still some heavier thunderstorms. Then by 10 o'clock, really seeing a lot of that taper off, and besides a few scattered showers south I-40, we're dry, I think, for much of the day on Friday. But it's going to come with quite a bit of rainfall. You notice anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches. It's kind of sectioned off like this because this is where we expect the stronger thunderstorms to be. Again, in eastern Oklahoma, as far southern portion of the River Valley. And then to start tomorrow morning, you notice that kind of trend of kind of the northeastern portion of northwest Arkansas. That's why it's kind of lined up like that in the heavier amounts. Otherwise, your 7-day forecast tomorrow, high temperatures are going to struggle to get out of the 60s because of the rainfall. Today, not too shabby, right around 80 for much of the area. Friday, mostly cloudy, but pretty comfortable. Those high school football games should be dry. Saturday for the Razorback games, kickoff at around 3:15, and really couldn't ask for much better weather. Kickoff temperature around 80, and notice the low temperatures are in the upper 50s. So dew points are going to be in the upper 50s for the River Valley. We'll see those dew points in the low to mid 60s. Again, for tomorrow, it's going to be pretty cool temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. And we are warming up a little bit towards Labor Day weekend, but really, you could not ask for much better weather to wrap up the month of August.
All right, on the Daily Brew today, we're talking about something the entire internet, the entire world is talking about. Taylor Swift's engaged.
Guys, this is a big deal. I need more excitement from y'all.
Travis Kelce's
Look at
engaged
that
too. Come on now.
ring.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. We know their kind of whole story. If you're living, you're breathing, you know the story,
8
right?
carats, if you were wondering. $550,000, experts are saying.
That's insane.
Can you imagine wearing that on your hand? I'd be so scared. But she has security at all times, so.
Right? So it's not
And
going
she has
anywhere.
Travis, so she's fine.
Yeah, I find it very funny too. Like when she tagged him, his username is Killatrav. So if you don't know who that is, you're like, who is this guy?
Everyone knows who Travis Kelce
No, I know,
is
but-
now. She made him famous. Hot take.
That is an extremely hot take. But if you just see like the username, you didn't know, you were like, who is she talking about? Because I
Yeah.
think you can see it, right there, Taylor Swift and Killatrav.
So this is the scenery, and I don't know if it is. I don't know if he recreated it. What it looks a lot like from her Lover album, a music video.
Oh.
That's what the
I wouldn't
scene
know.
kind of looks like.
I was
And
going to say, yeah, I'll take your word for
it
it.
makes you wonder if he remade it or if maybe they used that same spot.
Yeah.
I don't know, but beautiful. Super excited for them. If you're like me, and I don't think y'all are on the fandom of Taylor Swift, but I went to her first concert in the 6th grade when she was singing You Belong With Me. And so I feel like we've grown up together. And you never, at one point with all of the sad heartbreak songs and stuff, which really got you through the high school breakups, let me add, you didn't know, it never felt like this day would come. And now here we are. I can't wait for In Love Taylor album about the wedding.
I feel like it's going to be like the wedding of the century, right?
for
The
sure.
engagement heard around the world.
My prediction is they do it at the stadium
You think
for the
so?
Chiefs. Because, and I could see them doing it and having 50 people there, but like making it a whole wedding venue because that's where their love story started because he went to her concert at the stadium and then that's when he shot a shot after on the New Heights podcast.
Yeah, so what was it? He went to one of the concerts because he had some of those bracelets. He was hoping to talk to her or whatever.
But on the
she-
podcast, he
she
didn't even
couldn't
have the
talk.
bracelet.
Right, but she wouldn't talk to him, right? Because she doesn't talk before concerts or whatever to save her voice. So he didn't get to meet her, but then he went on the podcast.
And said that he had the bracelet.
Yeah.
But what's so funny is in the podcast they did recently, he said he kind of just thought since he played there and he knew all the security that worked at the stadium, he'd just be able to get back there.
I mean, you got to be pretty special to get to Taylor Swift. I don't know what
she
he was
like,
thinking.
I don't know what age you think we're in now, but they just don't let people backstage
Right.
anymore. And so she said PR people didn't reach out to each other or anything, but I don't know. I think it's exciting. She compared their love to an 80s rom-com on the New Heights podcast.
Yeah.
And if you watch that, how in love they were, you kind of saw it coming.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like.
yeah, I think so. Just because, I mean, you think about how public they were with the relationship. If it wasn't one that I think either of them were 100% sure about,
Sure.
they wouldn't have been that public.
The minute she stepped foot in that stadium, you knew it was serious.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody saw it coming from day one.
Oh,
Now,
so
is how
exciting.
soon before like they're gonna start a family?
I think after they get married, I feel like he'll be pretty fast. I think he probably has 1 or 2 more years under his belt. Wouldn't you say, Danny?
Yeah, he had a little bit of an off year last year. It was a little bit of an interesting year for the Chiefs. They still got to the Super Bowl, but yeah, he's probably ending. Tight end's a physically demanding position, which he plays. So he probably has, like I said, 1 or 2 more years. If they won it this year, I wouldn't be. See, this is where I thought a couple years ago when they won, I thought he was going to propose to her on the field.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. But
That was too fast.
yeah, maybe because it would have been like
6
6 months.
months.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 years. If he wins it all this year, I could see maybe being it this last year. But he loves football more than anything else. So I don't know. It's hard to give it up.
But he
your
could be
life
an
dream.
announcer like Jason.
Yeah, I think he'll be
do all
some
that.
sort of media. Like obviously the podcast will continue, and you know.
I think it's just hard to hang that up, right? When you've achieved that dream, it's hard to let go. You see it with Tom Brady, you see it with Aaron Rodgers, you see it with so many football players. They're still physically fit.
yeah, it's like they want to die on the field almost. Like I'm going to go until I can't go anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, I think too, like he's pretty close with his brother, right?
Very close,
Super
yeah.
close.
And his brother married, has kids, those types of things. So maybe he'll. I don't know. Probably wants to do something close to that, stay on the same life track,
Well,
right?
and he loves, like, he's talked about it before, he loves those nieces that they have.
Yeah.
And so you know that he loves kids. We've seen things before where Taylor loves kids. So I can see it. I wonder if she'll do one more tour with this new album coming out and then, like, give it a break for a little bit. I
Either way,
wonder.
they got plenty of money, and he has the podcast, right? So it'll be fine.
Why not retire? He's
Yeah.
marrying into billions.
Retire soon and enjoy life. Everybody's dream right there.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about Cracker Barrel. It has scrapped its new logo. The old timer will remain.
I'm all about this, guys. I think this was a good decision.
Well, guys, so they announced this more of a sort of simplifying their brand. People just lost their minds over it and were like, we don't want this huge social media backlash, so they changed it back.
Well, I think what sets Cracker Barrel apart from other breakfast restaurants, right? There's so many breakfast chains, but what makes it different than like an IHOP? It's that old-timey feel. You walk
Yeah.
in, there's the old country store, there's all these knickknacks and old pictures. Like, you almost feel like you're at one of your grandparents' house.
Yeah, but I mean,
And-
what is such a big deal? I mean, it's just a logo. It's a simple, I don't know.
But the
I
logo
can't be that
sets
invested.
I'm invested. The logo sets the tone, Joe. Like, you see that warm, inviting. I'm gonna go to grandparents' house and eat mom's pancake breakfast.
I mean, I'm
you see
glad-
the other one, and it looks like IHOP.
I don't know. I'm glad they're, listening to their customers. That's one thing. I just don't know if I would have been so upset about it.
Yeah.
It isn't a blip
I
on
mean,
my radar.
I wasn't like upset. I was just like, well, this is dumb. Because I don't think there's anything great about that other logo. It
No.
kind of just looks like they took a little font on Microsoft Word, typed it in a yellow square, and said, here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been noticing a lot of companies doing that too, going to very simple concepts. And I don't know if
Right.
that's just the new age, but I know they saw their stock plunge about 30% after they did that. And they said, you know what? Maybe we should go back.
Right. I mean, when
Yeah.
it comes to money, I'm switching back too, I guess.
Mama's pancake breakfast. Should we go after this?
Ah,
Oh,
sounds
you're making me hungry.
fantastic.
This is a 5 News Update.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassidy. We are seeing a couple of stray showers start to move into the area. Again, you can notice it's very light though, especially into portions of the river valley here. So it's not going to be too much of a damper on your morning commute, but just something to keep an eye on. Maybe have that umbrella handy just in case, because later this afternoon we will see some of that shower and storm activity move through from the west. You can see this kind of big line of showers and storms moving through the panhandle of Oklahoma. That eventually will make its way here, kind of on the backside. It'll keep developing and make its way here later tonight into the early morning hours that could provide quite a bit of heavy rain. Level 2 out of 4 flash flood risk for all of northwest Arkansas and some in the eastern portions of the river valley north of I-40. Then for tomorrow, that's going to be area wide with a lot of heavy rain and slow moving storms. So again, just be mindful of that flash flooding risk for the day tomorrow. I'll show you future casts here. Again, seeing a couple of those stray showers off to our west. Some of that may make its way here. Otherwise, a little bit of a better chance arrives later this afternoon. We'll call about 3 or 4 o'clock on our western edge. Starts across the I-49 corridor. And again, it's going to be very scattered. Not everyone will see it. Some could see some moderate rainfall. But that better chance comes later tonight into the overnight hours. We'll jump ahead to 4 a.m. Notice some heavy rain, especially in the eastern half towards Carroll County. That continues to move through, and by 7 a.m., much of northwest Arkansas, especially in Benton and Carroll County, seeing that heavy rain continues to move off to the south during the afternoon. You can see quite a bit of reds and pinks showing up there, indicating that heavy rain continues through the afternoon and evening hours. Then after the 6 o'clock hour, start to really taper off. And I think for much of late Thursday and early Friday, we're pretty dry, setting us up for a great Labor Day weekend. Hey, if you're watching us over on CBS, we're streaming every morning 5 News This Morning Plus on the 5 News Plus app from 7 to 8 a.m. Join the whole crew, Tiffany, myself, Jacob, Joe, and Emily, as we head for the next half hour of news, weather, and traffic.
Five News This Morning starts now.
Well, hey, good morning. 7:30 on this Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us on 5 News This Morning Plus, streaming live on the 5 News Plus Smart TV app. I'm Tiffany Lee.
And I'm Joe Ellison. Coming up this morning, Governor Sanders speaks at an event honoring MLK, along with leaders from 5 out-of-state commissions. We'll have more on that.
And newly obtained body camera video shows the interview with the man who shot and killed Brad Jones of Charleston. More on what we learned from Kermit Acosta's interview.
But a live look outside in Ozark this morning. Good morning to you there. Thanks for waking up with us. It is a bit foggy across the area, like as you're seeing here. And if you're heading out, you got to be careful.
It looks like we were in the clouds there.
Yeah, well, usually when you have a lot cooler air than has been, recently seen, you see that river. It's a little bit warmer. The cooler
yeah.
air cools it down and then condenses. That's why you get all that fog along the river valleys.
Your science lesson for the day.
There we go. There we go. The science list. Thankfully, it is starting to thin out in other areas, but still along those rivers. Just be careful, especially along any bridges. Here's a live look in Bentonville along Walton Boulevard. 60 degrees. Dew point is 60. So again, that's why when we have temperatures and dew points really close together, if they're the same amount, that means it's going to condense. We're going to see that cloud cover, or in this case, fog at the surface, but it doesn't look too shabby. Bentonville, some blue sky as well. Then as we head towards Poto, a little bit of a different story. You notice a little bit of that kind of low-lying fog there in the Poto area, but again, it's starting to thin out for us. 63 degrees currently in Poto and 61 for the dew point. So again, when it's pretty close, that's when you usually get those foggy conditions, as well as the fact that winds are very calm, so you can't mix up any of the air in the atmosphere. It's allowed to settle in and kind of sit there and take place. So fog is still pretty dense, especially in areas like Fayetteville and Siloam Springs, and a little bit in Benton County. It is starting to thin out in some areas, but again, along any river valleys or any low-lying areas, start to seeing it's still pretty dense, and we will eventually thin out by about 9 or 10 a.m. this morning. Another thing is you notice as you walk out the door, it is much cooler, especially in those kind of low-lying areas. You see Fayetteville 5 degrees cooler, in the river valley anywhere from about 3 to 4, a little bit warmer, I should say, in Poto and Waldron, but still cooler than this time yesterday. In terms of what's going on right now, seeing that cloud cover eventually going to build in from west to east, but there are some cracks in there, so there is some sunshine. We are seeing some of that very light green start to show up. Again, not much of a threat. It's going to be very light. I'm not sure if much of it will really hit the ground just because it is kind of drier at the surface. But as you head out to the bus stop, those temperatures will be in the upper 50s and low 60s. We'll have that fog and a mostly cloudy sky. A little bit of a better chance of maybe an isolated shower recess, but the best time is going to be as you're heading home about 3, 4 o'clock. So again, not expecting everyone to see rain, but that chance will certainly be there. So head over the next 12 hours here in northwest Arkansas. Again, the best chance will be 4 to 6 o'clock, I'd say, or really just afternoon and evening hours, not only in northwest Arkansas, but through the river valley with temperatures kind of area wide in the 70s. But the best rain chance is going to come tomorrow, near 100% across the region. And then after that, we dry out pretty quickly, but could see some heavy rain tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. For now, take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. Take a live look in the Clarksville area at I-40 at exit 57. A little bit more sunshine in the eastern half of the river valley. Good morning to you there. You'll have that full forecast detailing the rain timings and amounts coming up in about 10 minutes. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that. Well, there's a lot of progress going on at Carol Ann Cross Park on their newly opened inclusive playground.
Yeah, the city of Fort Smith says it's had a lot of positive feedback on the park. 5 News reporter Emily Moss is joining us live with more.
Well, good morning, guys. I'm here at Carol Ann Park, where they've got a brand new inclusive playground for kids of all ages and all abilities. Let's take you on a tour, shall we? So over here, we've got the middle-aged children section. They're younger, they're probably 3 to 5. They have these rolly things, so that way kids who need to be closer to the ground are able to be placed in them, and then they can still have a good time and play. Let's take you over to the older children section now. Just like this is for all ages and all abilities, it's also for all kinds of play. We've got a situation over here, I'm not quite sure what you would call it. It's some sort of rope swing, clearly focused on balance. We've also got plenty of climbing things all around the park, so that way kids, again, if they're closer to the ground, they're able to climb up. We've got that stereotypical full playground set over here inside the playground. Not only is it focused on physical play, but it's also focused on mental play. We've got situations over here that are more puzzle based. If you come down around this way, even music is involved. There's little notes here that you can hit and hear a new note for children. Of course, it's not a playground without the monkey bars over here. And then when you come over into this section, this is a full climbing sort of bridge, but it's for all ages and all abilities. Kids have these holes they can poke through to grab if they need the extra strength, the ropes if they need extra strength, and just like over there, there's also ropes hanging towards the ground in case your child is in a wheelchair or is not able to stand. They can grab and play just like they would if they were on the bridge. A great example of inclusive playgrounds, something that's very clear and easy to see, is the wide variety of swings. When we think of playgrounds, we think of swings. Over here is a swing that you would usually think of with a playground. It's just that one thin swab of plastic, of rubber, holding the kids together. But over here, for the older kids still, they have swings here that have more of a back support in case your child can't hold their back up themselves or they need that extra room. Back here, the swings you would normally think of for children that are below the age of 3, but a little bit older than a baby. And back here is a wheelchair use only swing for the kids that still want to swing. They still want to have that good time, but they're wheelchair bound. Now, Sarah told me that this whole park is separated by ages, by abilities, to make sure that parents can watch all of their kids at the same time. That was a big part of the process of creating the park, so all kids could play and all parents can feel like they're safe. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Emily. Well, at the Arkansas State Capitol, Governor Sarah Sanders spoke Tuesday at the National MLK Commission's conference. The Living in the Legacy Conference brings together members from 5 out-of-state commissions to uphold Dr. King's mission of service, leadership, civic engagement, and community empowerment. The governor spoke on the importance of fighting for equality through the education system.
We also know that civil rights history doesn't just belong in textbooks. It's an active, ongoing effort in our state and around the country to continue to build the fight for equality for our students.
Well, this week's event marks the first of MLK Commissions. The conference will be in North Little Rock for a seminar today.
And developing at the Arkansas State Capitol, another Arkansas school district has been added to the lawsuit challenging a new law that requires the 10 Commandments to be displayed in public school classrooms. Attorneys have now included the Conway School District as a defendant. Families from Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, and Siloam Springs initially filed the lawsuit back in June, claiming the law violates the First Amendment. The judge this month issued an injunction blocking the law from taking effect in those districts while the case plays out. Supporters argue that the law is legal, saying the 10 Commandments are a historical foundation of American legal tradition.
Well, newly obtained body camera video shows the interview with Kermit Acosta, the man who shot and killed Brad Jones of Charleston.
5 News reporter Lauren Spencer has more, hearing directly from Acosta in his interview with investigators.
This all started when Brad Jones went to a house where Kermit Acosta was working, looking to collect $2,000 for cabinet work.
I just kept telling him, I said, when you fix my cabinets, I said, I've got your money.
This is video from the scene of the shooting. In an interview with police, Acosta says Jones got in his face, blocked his truck, and repeatedly threatened him.
We were just arguing back and forth, yelling and screaming, and I told him it wasn't going to happen. When I heard we're going to whip your ass, I wasn't taking the chance.
He told investigators he was also focused on Jones's friend Jamie Fisher, who stood close by during the confrontation.
To me, there's something about that guy, that Brad had with him. I've never seen a guy, he's standing there with his hands in his pocket the whole time. Come on, man. I wouldn't take a chance.
Acosta told police he grabbed a loaded handgun from his truck, hoping it would scare Jones, saying he kept it pointed at the ground for nearly a minute before the shooting. He said he was also worried because Jones was larger than him. Fisher told investigators Jones never threatened Acosta.
He's like, why do you need a gun? He's like, I come here just to talk to you.
Jones handed Fisher his glasses, and that's when Acosta suddenly fired.
I had no intentions of shooting this guy, man. I was hoping to just scare him. Okay. I was hoping he'd just call me a crazy it'd be like we did before.
In the interview with investigators, Acosta asked how Jones was.
He didn't make it.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
Well, the Jones family is now filing a wrongful death lawsuit saying that Brad's life was taken without cause and that the family deserves justice.
Well, coming up, we have the latest on the nationally renowned volunteers supporting veterans and their benefits right here in Arkansas. But first, a live look over Fayetteville this morning. A foggy morning, 7:39 on this Wednesday. We'll be back right after this short break.
All right, well, welcome back. Because the Department of Veterans Affairs is size, the agency is not quick to revisit or reverse decisions. That's why veterans with valid appeals often need an advocate. Reporter Rolly Hoyt has the latest.
This is not an easy job, and this morning was really, really tough.
If Rex Moore says it's been a rough day, you should probably believe him.
I'm 77 years old. I am a 100% disabled Vietnam veteran. I served with the 173rd Infantry, and so it's been a long 77 years, and I would love to go fishing.
Under this tin roof in Searcy, Moore leads the Veterans Benefits Center. He and his team of volunteers use their skills to take up the fight for hundreds of disabled veterans as they appeal decisions by the VA.
I have 2 medical degrees, so that helps us look at these reports from the VA and these outsourced clinics. I have a writing degree, so that helps me also.
You'd think with 3 degrees and years spent teaching inside ivy-covered walls, he'd be smart enough to do something other than fighting one of the fiercest bureaucracies. But he's turned this former gas station into a powerful place for advocacy.
We read them, research them. I go into the law books. I look to see if what they've done is correct by VA law, and if they're not, then we will file an appeal.
The system works on word of mouth. Veterans call after getting medical and legal denials. More than taps into his network with area nurse practitioners and doctors.
I have a APRN here locally, Holly Bunn at Compassionate Care, and then I have a doctor up in Jacksonville who reads these, researches them himself, and will countersign with his MD.
And success helps breed success.
And I had actually won his case and his claim and appeal, so he does this for free.
Everybody's welcome to eat, everybody's welcome to stay.
Michelle Kimberling runs the office for them. She shows off the event center created in conjunction with the local American Legion.
We're having a wedding shower in here next month, in fact.
We feed veterans. We have a food pantry here. We have a clothing set up for them. I take what money that is excess in here. I pay electrical bills, water bills.
In addition to monthly meetings, there are bridal showers, picnics, and other get-togethers, all keeping the main mission of the center floating.
And this is our courtroom. We go before the BVA or the CVAC and several other courts in here.
Moore and the team do not mess around. In hearings with literal life and death stakes, this room conveys to judges in Virginia and elsewhere that the appealing veteran is here with a case.
You've got to have someone with training and education to fight this case for you. Trying to do it on your own is the biggest mistake veterans do.
They take appointments twice a week and walk-ins 2 other days. Moore would really like someone younger to take on these tough days and the winning ones. Like he says, he wants to go fishing, but his people need help.
It's something I have enjoyed doing. I will pass away at my desk, I guess.
Let's hope a long time from now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, here's a live look at traffic for us this morning. Here's a live look along I-40 at Highway 71 here in the Alma area. You can see some sunshine starting to peek through. A lot of that fog is starting to thin out, but there is still a little bit, especially in the river valleys, as well as any low-lying areas. Another live look outside in Rogers along I-49 near the amphitheater. You can see more of that blue sky as well. So we're seeing a little bit of sunshine to start this morning, but clouds will eventually build in later this morning into the afternoon. And we'll have a pretty busy, or I should say pretty cloudy day overall. Pretty busy as the roads obviously as they're picking up. Now this is down to 0 miles visibility. That's at the airport near Rogers, but you can see it is starting to thin out here overall. But when you have the temperature and the dew point the same like you have here and a light wind, that's what allows that fog to kind of settle in and stick at the surface until we see some sunshine to help warm things up, which we're seeing right now. Looking at satellite and radar, we're continuing to see that cloud cover eventually move from west to east, but you can see some cracks in it, so that's why we're seeing a lot of that sunshine, especially in northwest Arkansas. These green little pop-ups here, again, they're just light showers. Nothing to really be harmful about, but it is going to be maybe a little bit of a light shower out there, so just be mindful of that as you're heading out the door this morning. Otherwise, noticing a little bit of development here starting like north of Oklahoma City. Some of that will make its way here later during the afternoon hours and give us maybe some moderate showers at times. But the bigger story is kind of building behind it. Eventually what's going to happen is this is going to drag through Kansas and then swing its way through here later tonight into the day tomorrow. When it does that, we could see some higher risks of flash flooding. Level 2 out of 4 risks there for tonight for the entire northwest Arkansas area, and then areas north of I-40 in the River Valley. Then for Thursday, we are going to see it area-wide, that level 2 out of 4 risk. So we're not expecting any severe weather out of this. Could see some stronger winds, especially with storms that arrive in eastern Oklahoma and south of I-40 there in the River Valley. But I think generally speaking, we'll stay below severe criteria in terms of severe weather, but that flash flooding risk is in effect. So as we go through the rest of this morning, and could see a couple of those stray showers, but the better chance is going to arrive this afternoon. There's some of that activity that's now moving east towards Tulsa, and then in our neck of the woods by about 3-4 o'clock. You can see it's scattered in nature. Not everyone's going to see it, but could see some moderate showers at times. But that better chance is going to arrive starting really, I think, close to midnight onward. Starting to see some of those storms bubble up. And at first, I think it'll be more focused in the eastern half of the area, especially Carroll and Madison County. Seeing 4 a.m. here, you can see a lot of that heavy rain. Then eventually it'll move a little bit farther south, and we're seeing a lot of that, especially in northwest Arkansas and Benton and Carroll County. Will continue to move southward during the morning, and then by noon becomes nearly area wide, especially in the northwest Arkansas area. Look at all these reds and purples starting to settle in. By 3, now it's mainly in the River Valley and southern portion of northwest Arkansas. Continues to move through, and you notice that line there in the River Valley, again in eastern Oklahoma. That's where you can see some of those stronger thunderstorms. After 6 o'clock, though, we're starting to see it kind of taper off, and then after midnight, besides maybe a few isolated showers far south, looks like we're done with the rain for at least a little while. In terms of additional rainfall from what we've already experienced, anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches. You can see a little bit of a higher amounts where those stronger thunderstorms will be, and then where it starts later tonight in the northeast portion of northwest Arkansas. Otherwise, after that, conditions are looking quite nice. On Friday, temperatures in the mid-70s, maybe a stray shower possible early, otherwise we'll have mostly cloudy skies. Then Saturday for the first home Razorbacks game, or really the season opener for them, it's going to be beautiful. Kickoff temperature of around 80, and the rest of Labor Day weekend, again, couldn't ask for much better weather. The highs will be in the mid-80s. We'll see plenty of sunshine, and it's comfortable mid-80s as those dew points are in the mid to upper 50s in northwest Arkansas, lower 60s in the River Valley. So again, it is going to warm up a little bit into next week, but still should feel pretty nice. You can't ask for a much better way to wrap up the month of August. All right, well, now we'll hand things over to Alex Stewart with your morning sports report.
5 News coverage of the Razorbacks is sponsored by Arvest Bank.
Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is that as of yesterday, pumpkin spice latte season is officially here. The bad news is that in the last 7 years, Starbucks has released the PSL on a Tuesday 5 times. Arkansas's combined record in those years is 23-37, just 2 winning seasons. What does that have to do with anything, you might be asking? Absolutely nothing. But at this point, it is just as good as any other metric or reason or guess on how the season may go, because at this point in the offseason, we've looked at this team from every angle twice over and then some. It's finally time to just let ball talk, as Arkansas will host Alabama A&M this Saturday in their first Game 1 at Razorback Stadium since 2022. And with the Bulldogs liking cover 0 on defense, aka man, the Hogs are hoping that all that talk of an explosive offense this offseason turns into show.
It's all the firepower and all the playmakers that we have, not just the skill positions, but, the O-line, the tight ends, the receivers, the running backs, everybody, and just how much work we put in. And like Coach Pino says, on Saturday, it's game time, it's prime time. So like he says, just letting it fly and, having the mentality to, take the ball and score every single time we touch it.
Well, if they did, it would be the second year in a row they scored on every possession in their first game. It's I think safe to say it's unlikely, but still, I think fireworks are in store in just a few days in Game 1 at Razorback Stadium. Arkansas hosting Alabama A&M. That one kicking off 3:15. Football season is here, but for now, that's going to be it for your sports. Have yourselves a great day.
In today's health news, the rise in use of GLP-1 drugs to aid in weight loss is impacting how people eat. Research shows it's also changing the food industry. As diners are becoming more open to downsizing menu items, researchers say their studies show that these GLP-1 users are moving away from foods in the junk category and toward choices touting fiber, soothing digestion, and protein. The food industry is responding. Last year, Nestle launched a GLP-1 focused frozen food line. And there's been a big shift in how to tackle children's mental health. New guidelines are giving pediatricians a more specific timeline on what to look for. And it starts right after birth. CBS's Jared Hill reports.
A new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends doctors do more to identify mental, emotional, and behavioral issues in children. New guidelines say screening should start at infancy by looking for postpartum depression in the parents. Over the next 2 years, doctors should ask about a child's sleep, emotions, and behavior. And starting at age 3, screen for mental health at annual check-ins.
It's a lot of the same things as an adult. How well are they sleeping? How well are they eating? How are they interacting with others?
According to the AAP, nearly 40% of U.S. children will face a mental or behavioral health issue by the time they turn 16. Common causes include trauma, abuse, neglect, poverty, parental stress, and bullying. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder is editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News. She says identifying mental health problems is crucial, but treating patients has its hurdles.
Unfortunately, this is going to mean a lot of kids getting diagnoses who don't necessarily have access to care. We have a real shortage of child psychiatrists in this country. Even if you have good insurance, you might be looking at months to even years long wait to see somebody.
Dr. Gounder says parents can help children by starting a dialogue, model healthy behavior, stick to routines, limit screen time, and plan offline activities like sports and arts. She says in addition to your child's pediatrician, parents should lean into teachers and counselors and to approach mental health as a team effort. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
All right, it is 7:52 this morning. A live look outside in Montana. We'll be right back after this.
This is a 5 News Update.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassie. We're seeing maybe a few stray showers start to enter our far western areas there in Sequoia and LaFleur County, and a little bit into Adair County as well. So this morning could maybe see a few of those light showers, but really most of us are going to stay dry. A little bit better chance of activity later this afternoon. You can see it kind of circling about in Oklahoma. This will eventually make its way here. How much of it is going to make it here? That's the question, because there's not a ton of moisture here on the eastern half of the area especially. So we'll keep an eye on things there. But overall, that risk isn't too high. Later tonight, though, that's a different story. Level 2 out of 4 risk for flash flooding for northwest Arkansas and some areas of the eastern river valley north of I-40. Then for tomorrow, it's going to be an area-wide risk. And again, when we have that heavy rain and storms pretty slow moving, we'll see that chance, especially after Monday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Monday, we saw quite a bit of rainfall, especially south of I-40. So we'll take a look at futurecasts here again. We'll see those maybe stray showers this morning, but otherwise later this afternoon, we'll have a better chance. Again, notice as it makes its way here about 3-4 o'clock, it kind of breaks apart a little bit. And as it moves east, again, again, it's going to be scattered. Not everyone will see it, but we'll have that chance. Then as we head later into the night, especially after midnight, I think we'll see things pick up in northwest Arkansas. River Valley, I think, stays mainly dry during the overnight hours, but by 7 a.m., starting to see it not necessarily area-wide in northwest Arkansas, but some heavy rain as you walk out the door. River Valley staying dry, but then as we head towards the afternoon, then it becomes a lot more widespread, and you can see all of this heavy swath of rain across the region. Continues through the afternoon. Here's 3 o'clock, noticing basically heavy rain draped across the majority of the River Valley. And notice these kind of lines extending here. Could see some stronger thunderstorms with gusty winds south of I-40. Then after 6 o'clock, I think this thing starts to taper off. Then for overnight hours, pretty dry, and looks like a pretty dry end to the weekend. So again, have that umbrella handy, especially for tomorrow. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Welcome back at 7:57. Now, Frontier is adding 20 new routes this winter, right? So the flights will be going from several cities, including Detroit, Houston, Baltimore, Charlotte, North Carolina. We love it whenever more flights are just added, period, right? Because I feel like the more you get, the cheaper they become.
Oh yeah, love this. And because I feel like in the past, XNA's always been kind of hard to fly out of, but they keep adding more flights, which is making it easier and more affordable.
Absolutely. They're trying here, Frontier, to become the country's largest budget airline. That's okay with us as long as you make those prices to match, right?
Wasn't there a video that went viral recently of someone looking out the windows? They were duct taping the wing.
That's not
hey,
fun.
if it gets me there safely and it's cheap, I don't care. I won't ask questions.
I might draw the line right there. That would be my line drawing.
Depends what the destination is, right? If it's the beach,
I'm not chancing it.
Maybe not? Okay, well, the Windy City isn't much of a problem for the winner of an odd contest held over the weekend. More than 60 contestants competed in the inaugural Bald Off in Chicago, a celebration of baldness to name the baddest baldy. Some donned bald caps, costumes, and makeup. Others simply let their hairless head shine for the crowd. The winner, who dressed like Mr. Clean, was awarded a Pitbull Greatest Hits CD, a Megamind DVD, and more. He looks fantastic.
I mean, that's awesome. Well, don't they have a contest for like big hair? I want to see that. The bigger, the better, too, you know?
I saw a social media post the other day, and I was laughing so hard because it was so true. It said Pitbull never expected when he started his career that people, he thought like pretty young girls would be coming into the shows and they're all dressing like him with bald caps and a button-up and stuff. They're like, probably not what he expected when he got famous.
I mean, it's a whole fashion statement.
It is.
And it looks good.
And it's
on
fun.
a lot of people.
Just go and have fun. You know, they're not worried about what they're doing or what their hair looks like. They're just having fun.
I like that. Hey, thanks so much for waking up with us here on 5 News this morning. Plus, we hope you have a great day. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.